Okay, so I'm Sarah, and my presentation kind of revolved around cutaneous age reversal. And so this is my final literature review presentation for IRI. So my research question was, are extrinsic or intrinsic factors more susceptible to reverse aging techniques for skin in adults? So for my introduction, reverse aging has been successful in mice already. There have been multiple tests and mice were used as the subjects, and they were complete permanent reversals and even just different aspects of reversals such as vision or skin, and we kind of focused on skin. And another study showed that skin stem cells successfully reverse age 30 years. And that was pretty recent. That was either in 2021 or 2022. And to be able to reverse a skin stem cell 30 years shows that we can do it in any aspect. So that kind of led to questioning what factors, if any, are more susceptible to reverse aging processes, either intrinsic or extrinsic or any other factors. So as my background, there was a permanent reset seems unthinkable. So permanent reset basically means that in mice, it has been achieved, and it means that the whole entire body and all the cells and everything all together has been reverse aged. Now, like reverse aging a 90-year-old into a 5-year-old skin doesn't seem possible, although it has been achieved in mice. So instead, reverse aging specific cells within a human is a more doable task. So we decided to focus on skin cells. And focusing on specific areas and specific functions makes it more doable and a little easier to be able to complete. So, reverse aging techniques that are possible potential solutions. The first one is topicals, which are antioxidants and ointments or retinols, vitamin A's. Stem cell therapy is the second one. It's when stem cells replace damaged cells. And the last potential solution is hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which is when you're in a chamber and you're breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized environment. So extrinsic versus intrinsic. My research question revolves around the difference between extrinsic and intrinsic and which one's more susceptible to reverse aging. So just as the difference, extrinsic is controllable. It's when your skin is put in UV light or exposure to nicotine, exposure to pollution, frowning, smiling, just creates wrinkles over time. So that is controllable, and that's called extrinsic. And then intrinsic occurs as you age, and it's from decreased turnover, it's a chemical clearance, thickness and cellularity, thermoregulation. It happens as you age, and it's not specifically from the sun or UV light. So methodology, these are my search terms. I mainly used reverse aging in quotation marks because I wanted the two words together. And then I also used skin, and extrinsic and intrinsic were used interchangeably or sometimes together. And then specifically when I was looking for sources about my themes, I searched therapy and topicals and sometimes HBOT too. So my search engines I used were PubMed, Google Scholar, and ResearchGate. Google Scholar, I found 3 sources from, PubMed, 1 source, ResearchGate, 2 sources. Google Scholar was probably the most helpful and the easiest to understand. PubMed was a little bit more medical terms and it was harder to read. And then ResearchGate was a last resort and it was very helpful. I found 2 sources from it. So inclusion and exclusion criteria. I included people above the age of 20 just because underneath 20, your skin is still childlike and it's not able to really show the aging effects. And all of my sources were from the years since 1990, just because reverse aging is a new technique and it's a new breakthrough. I didn't want to date it back too far. And also I included a global population. I didn't single out any population. And all of my papers were related to skin reverse aging. And then exclusion is the opposite, people under the age of 20 years prior to 1990 and related to other body parts because we specifically related to skin. So for my results, my types of studies included clinical trials, general summaries, and perspective reviews. And then my focuses were effects of use of topicals, effects of the stem cell therapy on reverse aging, effects of HBOT on pathophysiology of skin, and explanation of reverse aging and potential solutions. So most of my studies overlapped. I had a few clinical trials and a more prospective reviews, but both of them had the same focuses. So I'm going to discuss topicals, stem cell therapy, and hyperbaric oxygen therapy as my three main themes. As my sub-themes, I kind of broke it down in my literature review into general knowledge, intrinsic and extrinsic, pros, cons, and then general summary. So topicals, it includes antioxidants, ointments, creams, retinols, vitamin A, and more. So general knowledge for topicals, they reduce inflammation, and when they're used in combination with sunscreens and other anti-aging, according to UV light creams, their effects are enhanced. And there's two main groups of topicals. There's antioxidants and cell regulators. And antioxidants reduce collagen degradation, and cell regulators influence collagen production. So why are collagens important? Because they're a protein that play a role in the structure and function of skin. So when they're reduced using when the degradation is reduced using antioxidants, it benefits the skin. And when the metabolism and production is influenced by cell regulators, it also benefits the skin. So intrinsic relies heavily upon topicals because it's over time aging, and each layer of skin is affected over time because as you age, your skin is gonna, each layer is going to be affected over time as it peels. And then extrinsic is photoaged skin, and it's going to have a looser epidermis because of the sun, and it leads to a visual appearance of sagging skin. And tretinoin, which is a retinol, has been able to fight extrinsic aging and kind of those wrinkles that are caused specifically from the sun. So pros versus cons. Consistent application benefits mentality, as we saw in a few of our sources. It benefits skin aging and it benefits collagen production. That's consistent use of a topical. And then cons are specific steroids or hard kinds of topicals can create burning, crusting, dryness, flaking, and itching. And then as a general summary, it's more effective in extrinsically aged skin. We saw specifically topicals, they're more effective in extrinsic aged skin, and proper prevention can result in the reduction of cutaneous aging. So intrinsic aged skin, although you could use topicals to kind of help that, it's done over time, and extrinsic it can be either more recent, like a hard sunburn from the sun, and it's able to be cured a little bit easier. Stem cell therapy. So stem cells in combination with anti-aging genes, they create a protective shield which stand against the eroding effects of aging. And skin or epidermal stem cells are classified as somatic stem cells. There's different types of stem cells, and they're correlated specifically to tissue repair and skin regeneration. So skin stem cells, which are somatic stem cells, are very helpful for reverse aging of skin. So mesenchymal stem cells specifically are used in trials and procedures and have been done, which resulted in a full structural regeneration of sun-aged skin, which is an extrinsic aged skin, and it showed that it can reverse age it. So there wasn't a lot of information about intrinsic specifically use in stem cell therapy. But they did provide that the results are similar for both extrinsic and intrinsically aged skin. Pros for stem cell therapy. This is specific for adult stem cells because there's a ton of different stem cells. But for pros, reprogramming is possible and also success has already been demonstrated. Cons about adult stem cells used in stem cell therapy is that they cannot be grown in long periods of time in culture, and there's a very small number in each tissue. As a general summary, regenerative medicine, which is the same as stem cell therapy, has proven to be effective and also requires more research and trials and is likely a solution to reverse aging of skin. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So what is it? Hyperbaric oxygen therapy is a medical treatment which requires the pressure greater than the sea level atmospheric pressure. And in a chamber, you're placed alone and you're breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized environment. And specifically what it's doing is it's reducing swelling while flooding tissues with oxygen. And it aims to break cycle of swelling and tissue death. And has there been any success with it? There has. In 2021, the pathophysiological aging effects on skin was significantly modulated by HBOT. So HBOT, which we'll see a picture in a few slides, kind of, but you're placed in it and you're breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized environment. And as you're doing it, it's able to have a prolonged effect on the skin, which gives hope towards reverse aging of the skin. So no study to date has examined HBOT's effects on reverse skin aging. However, in a clinical trial, the amount of oxygen dissolved in the body's tissues was enhanced using HBOT, which gives further insight and further hope that one day it might. And then pros versus cons. It's FDA approved for certain life-threatening conditions, and it's also effective. Cons is that it can cause pain and damage to ears, sinuses, eyes, teeth, and lungs. In rare cases, it can even oxygen toxicity can be toxic in certain cases. And also, if done too often, convulsions can occur. So the main thing I got out of this was that while the FDA did approve it, the FDA disapproved of it for certain conditions, such as like heart disease or something it might not help. Convulsions can occur and it's toxic, and you only want to do it if it's certainly approved. So as a general summary, HBOT, which is hyperbaric oxygen therapy, can significantly modulate the pathophysiological aging effects on the skin of healthy aging adults, which, although it hasn't been proven to reverse age in any way, it does provide hope that one day it might. Further research. So it's necessary because reverse aging is a new concept. It's a new breakthrough. Most of my articles were since 2000, even though I included a decade before. More researchers and trials are absolutely needed because while I could find sources and papers, there weren't plenty on reverse aging specifically. And further understanding the concept is also needed, as only one of my sources was about HBOT when 3 of them could have been. So, and then also the spot on the map that I showed is the exact spot where skin stem cells were first reversed aged 30 years. And then, does reverse aging of the skin also reverse the likelihood of age-related skin diseases? And I thought this was an interesting question because if you're going to reverse age, is it going to have an effect on those diseases? And this is a quote from my literature review, but it kind of discusses that extrinsically aged skin, if you are to use topicals or any measures that would prevent extrinsically aged skin, it will also decrease the likelihood of those diseases that could occur. So if skin cancer is going to occur from the sun or skin poisoning or anything, topicals, by using topicals prior to it, it's also going to decrease the likelihood. And then my conclusion is that cutaneous age reversal mainly focuses on extrinsic and intrinsic factors in my literature review, and also potential solutions that I focused on are topical stem cell therapy and hyperbaric oxygen therapy. And for future researchers have the ability to find further potential solutions and make the dream many call reverse aging a reality in the future. And these are my resources.